So anybody that knows me or knows what I really am doing these days is I'm the art guy. I'm a sculptor, and I do my work on my primary YouTube channel where I'm doing these time-lapse sculptures, and it's something I've been doing now for a couple of years. And it's really, it's a chosen path at this point that I'm glad to be doing, and I've gotten a lot more reward from doing that than what I used to do. Which was much more, well, consequential, I should say. And prior to this, I was really deeply entrenched into behavioral studies, working on a number of different subjects. So social behavioral phenomenon was something I was always interested in, and it just got to be really just too hazardous, I guess is the word. It's just too hazardous to stay in that area, and largely due to the whole cancel culture, SJW phenomenon that I was seeing on campus. Now, there was a lot of reasons to get out of it, and some of them were personal. A lot of them were personal. It wasn't rewarding anymore. It was too difficult to engage in the subjects without risk to yourself. I mean, I think we all understand at this point, if you say something, it doesn't seem to matter what it is, somebody somewhere will be offended. And if it picks up any traction, you'll have hordes of online people trying to basically ruin you, your career, silence you, cancel you, essentially. So why put myself back into this mess? And I really, the truth is, I don't want to. I mean, there's always some interest on my part because of my background that I find this stuff fascinating, and I'll talk to a select group of friends about it. But, getting in trouble over this stuff is not what I want. But there's something wrong where when I see that the most educated class of people, the people on the left, the ones who go to college, have the degrees, they're just not holding themselves up to the standard of which the education is supposed to have supplied them. And that is them being able to make a case and argue it well and try to persuade the other side to come over to yours. And they seem to have completely given this up and instead are taken to shouting, screaming, outrage, and even violence. And the other reason is I know a lot of older left people, and I call them the kind of the happy-go-lucky 90s lefties that drum circle, smoke a joint or something every once in a while. Really nice people, and they don't seem to know what the young left is up to. They're just really out of touch with it, and it's quite catastrophic to put myself at risk of being hyperbolic, but it is really bad. And I don't know many people that is reaching out to the older left to explain to them what's going on. And I know some of these people personally, and they mean a lot to me. And so I thought I should just do a video and try to explain this in a way that hopefully they'll understand. And since they know me and I'm not some crazy conservative neocon Tea Party guy, I like to think of myself as pretty middle of the road. But they don't know. And I just need to try to explain that to some of those people as well. I think just airing my concerns verbally really isn't sufficient for the kinds of things I'm trying to say. And so I really just have to kind of show you. I have to give you examples. What do you think you look like if you behave like that? What does that say to people like me, to people that are not party affiliated? That if you are trying to get rid of Trump, if Trump is the most terrible thing that in your mind has ever happened to the country, if you pursue it in this fashion, what do you think is going to happen? When that person goes home, do you think they change their mind? After dealing with you, they're going, gosh, I'm just not, I totally get his point. I'm on his team now. Maybe you think that that person is, or those people are so firmly entrenched in their attitudes and ideas that it's hopeless and they'll never be persuaded. Maybe it is true. You didn't bother trying to have a civil discussion, but it's possible that no matter what you said, that they would just never agree with you. But then there are other people who are watching these exchanges, and you look like an asshole. You know, when I see a guy behaving like that, his reasons evaporate, and all I do is get angry. And I know I'm not the only one to feel that way. Like, I see that guy flicking off this old lady, and I think, your parents didn't kick your ass enough, okay? Now I want to kick your ass.
Answer the fucking question! Fuck, 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 fuck! Put your hands on me again and I fuck you up. Hands on me again and I fuck you up. Bitch, what? Hands on me again and I fuck you up.
That's just disrespectful bullshit that you're pulling. And nobody should stand for that. I wouldn't want that done to me, okay? And the way you're behaving and doing that to other people, again, how do you think they're going to respond, right? Getting up in the face of an old person or anybody that's really, if they're not aggressively approaching you and you get up in their face and you're spitting at them and cursing and, this old woman, you're giving her the double bird like that. Like, you look like a dick. You are a dick. You're pissing people off that otherwise could be on your side. And the onus is on you to make good arguments and behave with respect and dignity to people, especially your elders. Right? It has nothing to do with whether I like Trump or not. I just don't like seeing people behave like aggressive assholes, especially to older people. These people have different attitudes. They have different opinions. They have different thoughts in their minds, beliefs, and you know what? That's okay. That's kind of the point of the country and the project that is the United States, is that you can have all these different attitudes and opinions and still somehow live together in harmony. And we have a democratic system and free speech and so on. And that's wonderful. That's a great thing. It would be rather boring if everybody agreed on just about everything. And you need to have lively discussion. But that's not what you're doing. You are harassing people. You're attacking them. You're being violent. And worse, you're alienating people that would otherwise potentially be on your side. And another thing that's upsetting me is the destruction of small businesses. People that, again, would probably be with you and would help you and be interested in being on your team if you weren't lighting fires and burning down their life's work. This is something that, for me, really struck a chord because, I know what it's like now to really invest an awful lot of time in building something and creating something. And to think that a mob could show up at my door and feel like they have the right to destroy my things or take them, all under the guise of equality, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, is terrifying, and it's enraging. Now, there's a number of cases of this having been recorded, and various business owners trying to express themselves. I witnessed during the worst parts of the riots, there were people out just trying to defend their store, getting beaten by mobs. Now, I don't want to put up that stuff on here, but in the words of this fella, this is pretty much the situation condensed.
I knew it was going to be a disaster, but I didn't know what a disaster looked like till I saw it.
I can hear the emotion in what you're saying. I mean, what is the family feeling right now?
It's tough. This is a business that my parents started 40 years ago, small, out of their garage. It was a small business. Did it just to make a few extra dollars, and eventually it grew. 31 years ago, they bought this building, and so we've been here ever since. They're very upset about it. It's emotionally hurtful. We didn't do anything to anybody. Why did we deserve it?
The Timcast guy condenses this down really succinctly. Take a look.
What about the property destruction issue? Mark asked. He went on to assert that some defenders of looting justified the destruction because it wasn't assault or murder and that property was replaceable. That is a lie. If I spend a year working on a big painting, a passion project, or maybe it's something sentimental, maybe my mom gave me something, and you burn down my building, I can never replace those things. I can never replace the blood, sweat, and tears.
Now, here's another example of a black-owned business. It was a gas station. Just take a look at this.
So y'all didn't care if this was a black-owned gas station or not?
Hell no.
This is my shit, yo. I was protesting with y'all until y'all just broke in my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck y'all.
She ain't lying though. They breaking the wrong shit.
The spirit of what I'm trying to get across to you, people that are behaving this way, is that you're going to be the cause of a Trump victory. Either the people that are on the fence, I mean, there are people who don't like Trump, they really hate him, but they are going to hate you more. And they may not go vote for Trump. They just might decide to stay home. Or at worse, you're going to just, people will cross the line and, you know, they're not going to side with you when you act like this. And they're right not to. I mean, you're destroying people's livelihoods, and then you're trying to blame them for it, make them responsible for the destruction you're causing. And it's all based on some kind of bizarre sense of entitlement and equality and justice, when these are people, you know, they just might want to get home from work. They're tired. They're exhausted after long days at the office or at the hospital. I mean, you're blocking traffic. You're not letting people get home to their families. Or worse, they might be trying to get to the hospice care to say goodbye to a loved one, and here you are standing in traffic, you know, trying to do whatever the hell you think you're doing. And it's terribly misguided. There's this guy who's just had enough of this crap. And here's a group of young kids, students that are probably thinking they're doing a good thing, blocking traffic. People are trying to go to work or they're trying to come home from work. And this guy, he's just had enough. And he's just a small example of what's going on in the minds of a lot of people. They're fed up with this crap. They are turning against you. I remember watching these documentaries about the Vietnam protests. They were trying to stop an unjust war, and they were really upset. And they had every right and reason to be out there and protest the war in Vietnam, because it was a mess, right? But even they got some things wrong. There were some of them at the airports, you know, shouting and spitting on troops that were getting off the plane, calling them baby killers, right? Forget the fact that most of these guys were drafted and didn't want to be there in the first place. I mean, there's just so much lack of thought involved in what I'm seeing. I mean, like, you know, look at this, like the defacement of a Civil War monument honoring a black regiment. Or this Looney Tunes woman who's demanding that these cops go home and commit suicide.
Kill yourself. Literally, all the fucking officers can kill them fucking selves. Your ugly ass can kill yourself too.
That we're scoping out.
I wish you the fuck would. Go on live on Instagram, shoot yourself in the fucking head so we can all watch.
Did you search?
Like, what the f is wrong with you? Like, what are you thinking? You're not thinking. And that's evident to me and evident to so many other people out there that are watching this shit unfold. So the message is, if you hate Trump so much, you've got to start policing your own. Now, that word policing might be a trigger word at this point, but you have to make it clear to the people to the right and left of you that this kind of behavior ain't going to fly. You can't get away with this crap. We don't like it, and you should make it clear to us that you don't like it either. You can't allow this stuff anymore. Because if you just let this happen, you get another 4 years of that guy you hate. Stop destroying people's businesses. Stop going up to restaurants and kicking people out and throwing chairs and dumping their meals on their laps because what? Because they're there having a relaxing evening after working all week? I mean, seriously, guys, come on. Just stop the bullshit. because you look like assholes. And you're going to cause the very thing that you hate the most. Another 4 years of that guy. That's it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm not so sure about these political sorts of videos. I'm not sure if that's something that you guys want to hear from me, but if you did like it and you'd like more of this sort of thing, please let me know in the comments. Those of you that are new, this is my second channel. I have a primary channel called Lorecraft where I do time-lapse sculpting. If you're interested in seeing that stuff, do please check it out. And to the patrons, thanks for keeping the lights on. Cheers.